All right. Here for the late night boxing talks, and it's official. Devin Haney will be traveling to Australia to take on George Kambosos for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. You'll find that there are people out there that they're not as excited about this news as some others. They still insist on lambasting Devin Haney, even though he's doing what he's got to do. He's doing what Ryan Garcia isn't doing. He's doing what Gervonta Davis isn't doing. You know, he's willing to go to Australia. At one point, around, I'll say between 2020 and 2021, Teofimo Lopez, you know, they tried to get him to go down to Australia because they felt that the fight would be more commercially successful there. That was when Triller still had the rights for the fight, and they couldn't get him to do it. So in essence, Devin Haney is doing what even Teofimo Lopez didn't want to do, because Teofimo didn't want to have to go to Australia. We know that Ryan Garcia, I mean, look at that guy, you know what I mean? And in spite of Devin doing what he's got to do for the big fight, the major fight, what is the biggest fight in the lightweight division right now, you're still going to find people that don't want to give him credit. It's a little bit ridiculous, but now that the fight is made, it becomes crystal clear what the motives for these individuals actually are, that for some reason, you just don't like Devin Haney. It's not about the belt. It's not about undisputed, because there's going to be an undisputed fight. It's not about any of that for those guys. It's about something else, and we all know what it is. You know, what I like most about this fight is that it will bring finality to a situation that's been a bit of a pain in the ass, that I've had to explain over and over, that, you know, franchise is not a real belt. It doesn't matter if Teofimo had it. It didn't matter when Vasyl Lomachenko had it. And for all those people who took a liking to calling Devin Haney an email champion, the only reason he got the email was because of Vasyl Lomachenko in Top Rank. That's the only reason he got an email in the first place. The popular narrative ever since that franchise belt came into the situation is that Devin Haney is not the real WBC champion, even though if I go to the other alphabet organizations' ranks, they recognize Devin Haney as WBC champion, not George Kambosos, because George, if he's anything, he's a franchise champion, and they don't recognize the franchise title. They recognize the world title. That's the version of the title you need to be an undisputed champion. That's the version of the title that Canelo Alvarez made sure to pick up along his undisputed run in the super middleweight division. The franchise title has no lineage. It's just a designation that empowers a WBC champion. It gives them certain perks, but it's not a world title, and it's not a divisional title. In other words, it's not exclusive to a particular weight. It's not exclusive to the lightweight division, the super flyweight division, or the middleweight division. You know, it's not exclusive to a particular weight. It's actually exclusive to a fighter. For example, if Canelo Alvarez, you know, goes to 175 pounds, he's still a WBC franchise champion. It's not exclusive to middleweight or super middleweight. It's exclusive to Canelo. The same applies to George. The same applies to Juan Francisco Estrada. These are the three franchise champions by way of the WBC. Better still, the beautiful thing about this fight is that it's going to lay that argument to rest, hopefully, about franchise, about world. It will bring finality to that conversation that, you know, and I don't know why so many people like to act dumb when it comes to this. Devin Haney didn't petition for a title. Devin Haney was an interim champion. He was in line for a title shot. The fight hadn't been ordered yet, but he was interim champion after the Zaur Abdullayev fight. After that fight, he was interim champion, WBC interim champion. And we all know what happened. Top Rank petition for franchise status for Vasyl Lomachenko, and Devin Haney was subsequently elevated the WBC champion. Yet you still have people out there that want to blame him for this. They'll call him an email champ, but they won't address why it is he got the email. He got the fucking email because Top Rank petitioned for franchise status, not him. So why are you giving him a hard time? He's not the one who asked for an empty belt. You know what I mean? He was an interim champ that got elevated. And this is what I mean when I say that little by little, now that the fight is made, these people's, these individuals' true intentions, they kind of come to the surface that, okay, he did what he had to do, right? He made the sacrifices and the fight is made, yet you still have a problem. Now, I know what your problem is. I know what it is. I'm not going to rush to say that. I'm going to let you show me that that's what your problem is. I'm going to let you show me what your real issue with him is, because it's not fighting the best. He's trying to fight the best. He's going to Australia so he could fight for undisputed. So clearly he's doing what he can to fight the best. And for some reason, you still have a problem. I know what your problem is. We all know what your problem is. Shout out to Openda Gates. I appreciate that. I have no complaints. I said it in a video that I just did, that I have no complaints when it comes to George Kambosos. I have no complaints when it comes to Devin Haney. They got together and they did what they had to do to get the fight over the line. Sacrifices had to be made. There had to be some concessions, though ultimately they came to an amicable solution, and now we have the fight. So if you see anybody still throwing shade, still talking shit, you know what their problem is. You know what their issue with young Devin is. It's kind of obvious to me. It's always been obvious. But like I said, I like to let the guilty parties show me that they're guilty before I assign that blame. That, look, dog, I know what your problem with Devin is. I mean, we all do. Don't fool nobody. Shout out to Killy. Shout out to David. Shout out to Porcheck, Midwest, Johnny. I mean, it's obvious, you know what I mean? I was goody Leo, was goody Daniel, was goody Jay, was good, Jacob was good. This is what you want. You see people complaining, shout out to George. You see people complaining about fighters not doing enough to make big fights happen. Guys like Ryan Garcia, guys like Gervonta Davis, they're happy to hide out. They're happy to angle. You have Devin Haney, who's actually making sacrifices. He's going to Australia. He could have been on some chump shit the way they on some chump shit. But no, he's going to go to Australia. He's going to do what he can. And win or lose, he's going to get credit from me. Because a lot of guys wouldn't go to Australia. Teofimo didn't want to go to Australia. He didn't. You couldn't get him to do it. Do you think Ryan Garcia would go to Australia for such a fight? Ryan Garcia is a fighter who walked away from title shots, walked away from the opportunity to become a champion. So we see he ain't got it in him. Gervonta Davis, forget about it. He's babysitting a secondary title, a baby belt. You know what I mean? Devin is actually doing what he got to do to be in a big fight. So win or lose, he already has credit from me for that, just for that, hey, he's willing to go to Australia. That's more than I could say for a lot of other fighters. A lot of other fighters might not have decided to do that. A lot of other fighters, they might have found some way to rationalize not doing what they got to do for the big fight. But he's doing what he got to do for the big fight. He sees the situation. Go ahead. Capitalize on your opportunity if you can. Though I reiterate, he has my credit, win or lose, because at least he was willing to go. There's a lot of guys that wouldn't go. Apparently, Tank versus Rivera is next. Haney getting hate for doing with exactly, you know what I mean? You know why they really hate him, though. You know what I mean? Because the fight is made. So for the critical boxing fans that are boxing fans like us, we got what we wanted. We wanted an undisputed fight at lightweight, and Devin Haney and George Kambosos are giving us that. So I have no complaints for either. I have no issues with Devin, no issues with George. It's what you want. They getting together. They're going to do the fight. Now, a lot of people feel that George Kambosos will have an unfair advantage in Australia. Well, that advantage is no more unfair than the advantage Teofimo had in America, isn't it? I mean, this is what I mean, that it's a lot of stupid-ass people that watch boxing that say a lot of stupid shit in reference to boxing. Oh, you mean George will have home field advantage? Yeah, he will. The same way Teofimo had home field advantage. What's the problem? Oh, what you think? Everything is supposed to be leveraged one way? No, it's not. He did what he had to do to get most of the belts. He's got home field advantage. I'm not complaining, all right? Because I would expect the same to be true if it were Devin in his shoes. If it were Devin that had 3 of the 4 major titles, I would expect the same thing. But it's George that has it. Okay, then give that man his respect, because he spent a lot of time not fighting in Australia, not fighting domestically. No, he spent that time abroad, fighting in other people's backyards. So he gets himself to this point where he's the unified, lineal, and Ring Magazine champion. He wants to fight in his backyard. Let's go. I'm not against it. A lot of people feel that Lou DiBella was sandbagging, that perhaps Lou DiBella was making things difficult for Eddie Hearn. I do think he was, because I don't think he wanted DAZN to get the fight. Is that wrong? No, not necessarily. Lou DiBella doesn't owe Eddie Hearn or Matchroom anything. He doesn't owe them anything. And if DAZN wanted to be in the Lou DiBella business, well, they should have given him a platform deal for his stable and his fighters. You know, it's free enterprise. It's fair play. You got to make as many friends as you can, because it's those relationships that will affect things moving forward. Now, it looked to me like Lou DiBella didn't want Matchroom to get the fight. He wanted to pick who distributes the pay-per-view in Australia. He didn't want DAZN to have the rights for that fight. And because of that, DAZN is like, well, if we can't have the rights for the fight in Australia, we might as well not bother, because that's where the biggest market for the fight is going to be. We would want that fight to show it in Australia. But it worked out how it worked out, and I'm not against that, because that's fair play. You know what I mean? Lou don't owe nobody nothing. George don't owe nobody nothing. If y'all wanted to be in the business of those 2 individuals and that entity, y'all should have did that earlier. Y'all didn't do that. I'm not lambasting or criticizing nobody. I'm just saying that if Lou DiBella wanted a deal that benefited him and benefited his fighter, well, that's what he's supposed to want. That's the way it's supposed to be. Lou DiBella is not in the Devin Haney business. He's in the Lou DiBella, George Kambosos business. So if he felt that dealing with Duco, who I said would be involved, if he felt that dealing with Duco and dealing with Top Rank was more beneficial to him, that's his fucking decision to make. To me, there are no villains. This is just the business. This is the way it is. If Lou and George were more, if they preferred to deal with Top Rank and ESPN than dealing with Matchroom and DAZN, hey, it's their prerogative. It's their decision to make. You know what I mean? I don't see nothing wrong with the situation. I don't see nothing wrong with Lou pursuing a deal that he perhaps feels benefits him more than a Matchroom deal would have. I'm not against any of it, because that's the nature of the business. And you know, a lot of people feel, oh, Matchroom is missing out on that fight. But remember, Devin Haney is a network and promotional free agent. He's not tied to anybody. That seems to be a decision that they both came to. You know, that Devin Haney wanted to stay a free agent so that he could field offers from other outfits, so that he would not be tied down to a promoter or a network. And now, you know, he's reaping the benefit of that. I will admit that it's a deal that seems to favor George more than Devin, but oh fucking well, that's just the way it is, you know? That's the way it is. Leverage cannot always go to the American fighter. And I noticed that a lot of American fans, that's how their mind seems to work. They think that the American fighter is always supposed to get the leverage. He's always supposed to be the A side for the simple fact that he's an American fighter. No, that's not the way it fucking works. That's why so many thought that Wilder supposed to get 50-50 with Anthony Joshua. No, the fuck he ain't. That ain't how it works. I'm sorry. That ain't how it works. But maybe now it'll start to register. You see that Devin had to make concessions to get this opportunity. Do you see that George is actually helping to make this possible also? And I don't think he's getting enough credit for that. This story in this part of the world, for the most part, has been reported as a Devin Haney story, when in reality, a lot of it is a George Kambosos story. Shout out to him, because he beat Teofimo Lopez in Teofimo's backyard, and he didn't decide to take a lighter touch after that. He didn't decide to take it easy. No, he was going to box Vasil Lomachenko, and I think Loma was going to beat him handily. I think he was going to beat him, but that's who he was going to fight, so he ain't no bitch. That's the crazy shit to me, that People really thought George was some kind of a bitch. And I'm like, bro, how could he be a bitch if he just beat Teofimo and he was about to fight Loma? He can't, you can't be no bitch with that succession of fights. That don't make no sense. I believe Devin Haney made a long run reward. That's exactly what he did. I'm like, yo, there was people that really thought that like, oh, George is going to be scared of Devin. And I'm like, look, I don't got nothing against Devin Haney. That much is obvious. But you're not going to tell me that he's scared of Devin, but he not scared of Loma. Loma stand a better chance of knocking his ass out. That shit don't make no sense. Like, nah, it don't make sense. What it really is that George wanted to be the A side, but that much we already knew. He said after the fight, I want a hometown fight. So whoever want these belts, you got to come see me in Australia. And I ain't mad at that shit. Like, nah, you earned that. Go ahead, you earned that. Motherfucker can't get mad at that. Motherfuckers really running around thinking George, like, come on, be like, that shit don't make no motherfucking sense. It don't make no sense. You gotta give Devin, I give Devin his props for not falling in line the way some other fighters do in America, that they don't want to go nowhere. They want everything to be in their favor. They don't want to fight shit. No, I give Devin his credit. He's willing to go over there in hostile territory to do what he got to do. And I respect it because he's a very young guy. He's only 23, 24 years old, but he already made millions of dollars, right? Already made millions of dollars. He's already a champion. And now at 23, 24 years old, he fighting for undisputed. Win or lose, I give him props for that because it's a lot of other young guys. They still on a split peas and applesauce diet, not Devin Haney. So I respect that. But I also respect George because look at the sequence of fights. He waited for Teofimo. He didn't walk away. He waited. He did what he had to do. He had to fight. He won the fight. And after that, who was he planning on fighting? Vasil Lomachenko, who I thought was going to cook his ass. I thought Loma was going to cook his ass in Australia. But when that fell apart and when that fell through, all right, who's the next best guy? The next best guy is Devin Haney. You have people saying, oh, nah, he not going to fight Devin, right? And they had their reasons. I don't knock them. There was reason to be skeptical. But there were other people that were a little bit more dramatic that, oh, he's going to fight Ryan Garcia. No, he ain't going to fight Ryan Garcia. The fuck? Nah, he fighting Devin. So give him his respect because he deserves that motherfucking shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that the fight is made, right? I'm giving the boys their credit for putting on a good show for us, the boxing fans here in America, down there in Australia, where it's dope. And it's a lot of good-ass fighters coming out of there. Sky Nicholson, Liam Paro, J.O. Pataya, Ebony Bridges, one of my old-time favorites, Shotgun Shannon O'Connell, been beating broads up for years. It's a lot of good fucking fighters down there, man. It's a lot of good fucking fighters. They doing their thing. And they ain't on no bitch shit. You know what I'm saying? I like them Australians, man. They with the fucking shit, yo. They with shit. I like that shit. And I'm just happy that the fight is made. I'm just happy that the fight is made. We know that Gervonta Davis, you know, I'm gonna open the conversation to the chat. And you know, one at a time. I don't want to have 10 guys up here. Everybody can't be on here because then we get too many guys talking at the same time. So we're gonna see what it do. And yeah, man, I mean, I look at it as good news. But the main thing that bothers me is you still have people trying to propagate this narrative. Oh, he's an email champion. Yo, dog, the only reason he got an email is because Top Rank asked the WBC to make Loma franchise. It ain't like he petitioned for that. They petitioned for that. And as a result of that, he got elevated. It's what they did, not him. But you don't want to fucking blame them. You want to blame him. And like I said, I know why. I know what you don't like about him. You know what I'm saying? I know what they don't like about Devin. I know what it is because I'm like, how could you have a problem with him still? I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense.
¿Qué pasa, Julius?
Aquí en lo mismo, la misma mierda de siempre, tú sabes.
What's good, Jules? What's good, Leo?
Ain't shit.
Okay.
Just celebrating the undisputed. Celebrating the undisputed.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
I mean?
voice. The fight is finally done. Can we just applaud, please? This fight is finally done, and I cannot wait to see it. Knowledge, I just got to say, the only winners in this are the fans. I got no horse in this race. I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's how I feel, Jay. That I'm like, look, George could win, Devin could win. It doesn't make a difference to me. But as long as they fight and as long as they're willing to fight, that's what's important. You know what I mean? As long as they're willing to fight, that's because I'm a boxing fan, bro. I'm not Team Haney. I don't get paid by Bill Haney or Devin Haney, and I don't get paid by George Kambosos. I'm just a boxing fan that want to see a boxing match.
It's like, I mean, because the restrictions, well, the restrictions they put on Haney with this deal that he's got to fight Georgia and Australia twice. Part of me kind of is rooting for him to pull this off twice just because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know why I don't get mad at shit like that? Because I see foreign fighters walk into deals like that here in America all the time. And because they're foreign, nobody says nothing. So now when the shoe's on the other foot and it's an American fighter that has to make that kind of a sacrifice, no, I'm okay with it.
I'll say,
You know,
yeah. It is what it is. I mean, yeah. So sorry, but
I think that was his fault also because I'm pretty sure whenever Matchroom was negotiating, I don't think they would have put that on there. But since he said, I'll take the same deal that Loma took it, and he didn't accept the first time, he fucked that up. So he had to take a harder risk now. But I'm pretty sure all that wasn't in the contract.
No, mira, look at Brian Castaño, JBN, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Anybody could look at that situation and say that, okay, well, Brian Castaño in America is in the same situation, more or less, that Devin Haney is in Australia. And this is what I mean, that American fighters do this to who making all that noise? I hear birds and shit.
yeah, what the hell?
That was me, man. My bad. I was getting in my truck.
I dig it. You see how foreign fighters, they gotta play by those rules all the time. So I'm like, well, if they do it to an American fighter for a change, no, I'm not gonna be mad at that because that's the same thing that American fighters be doing to, foreign guys that come here, whether they're coming here from Mexico or Argentina or the UK or Russia, wherever the fuck they're coming from. That's the same kind of deals they be giving them. So it's like, to me, it's fair play. It's fair play.
Yeah, that's where the rematch will make the most money anyway. So
Es la verdad, porque ya se sabe que Devin Haney don't sell a bunch of tickets out here, neither does George Kambosos. So tienen que dejar la vaina. Esa pelea tiene más potential to sell, like 1,000, like 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, in Australia than it does here. Them two guys ain't gonna sell no motherfucking 20,000 tickets out here.
No, maybe the rematch will do better here, but not like Australia.
Julio, tengo una preguntita.
Okay, ¿cuál es la pregunta?
Is it true that this is a 3-fight deal?
No, it's a 2-fight deal with the potential for a third fight.
And Top Rank is involved?
Yes, they are. Top Rank is Top Rank.
Yeah. I think I know now why Loma pulled out of the fight.
¿Por qué?
Why fight two guys if you can fight one for undisputed?
Posiblemente. Yo no voy a decir que that's not the reason, pero también puede ser la guerra, también puede ser eso. Porque la pregunta, do I believe that Vasyl Lomachenko could beat George Kambosos 2 times in Australia? Yes, I do, but I'll go as far as saying that I think he would have beat him so bad the first time, there wouldn't have been a second fight.
Yeah, but to collect the other belt without with Matchroom involved, it's going to be difficult.
Tú eres por eso es que me gusta el Leo. Por eso es que me gusta el Leo. Ese tipo es más inteligente que el diablo. Más inteligente que el fucking diablo, coño. All right, now let me read this.
¿Dónde eres tú, bro?
Él es de Chile. Él está en el oeste de Sudamérica, por ahí, en la playa, the Atacama Desert, the Andes Mountains, toda esa belleza. All that shit, yo.
I am far south. I'm south en
la Tierra del Fuego.
Even Australia.
Con varios colombianos y venezolanos, pero chileños no, man.
Él está en la Tierra del Fuego, coño. El fuego. All right. Now, I guess the biggest question is, and I'm going to go around the board with this. The fight is made and we have that to celebrate. But now that the fight is made, What does your gut tell you, and who do you think is going to win this fight? I'm going to start with Mark.
Hello. Thanks for having me on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Who do I think is going to win the fight? My gut tells me we're going to get a trilogy. It's going to go 1-1, so I'm not really going to guess on that. I don't know. I think the first fight's going to be controversial, and whoever the rightful winner is actually going to get robbed.
Okay. I'm going to go to JBN. JBN, what does your gut tell you? What do your instincts tell you? Who's winning this fight?
George Kambosos. By a good enough decision. I think he can beat Devin Haney.
I'm gonna go to Jay. Jay, who wins this fight?
Well, my gut tells me George, but there's the potential for Devin to pull off an upset. But I'm kind of split. I mean, but yeah, that's just what my gut is telling me for now.
Leo, who wins this fight?
I think Devin Haney is going to win this fight, but I think he's going to look bad. In similar way to the Jorge Linares fight. It's going to be a similar fight. It's going to get hurt later. It's going to struggle, but it's going to outwork and going to outpunch George Kambosos.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of the fight is that, you know, and I said this on Twitter yesterday in one of those spaces. I said that my favorite kind of fights are the ones where there's not a clear answer, because, you know, you have to tune in to see what's going to happen. The beauty of this fight is it's not a pay-per-view. For us here in America, all we got to do is you know, it's going to be staged at a reasonable time for us, and we don't have to pay pay-per-view to see it. Once again, Top Rank is delivering for the fans. Can we get a round of applause for Top Rank? Everybody clap.
Oh, it's not on pay-per-view, really?
It's not on pay-per-view, bro.
Mi tío Bob siempre entrega, nada más que nadie lo quiere, pero mi tío Bob siempre da todo.
El tío Bob es el tío más mejor del mundo. Tú no ves pelea tras pelea tras pelea, and we don't have to pay, bro. We never have to. Bob loves us, and that's what it's really all about.
He really does.
He's doing it for me and you, Jay. He's doing it for me and you.
Yeah, he's doing it for everybody.
now, Gervonta Davis. I'm gonna start from the bottom to the top. The story is that Gervonta Davis's court case is set to go down very soon, in a matter of weeks. And if he's found guilty on all 14 misdemeanor charges, he could be going away for a long time. I'm gonna start with Mark. Mark, do you think that the rift that we've been seeing between Gervonta and Mayweather Promotions, do you think that has anything at all to do with the jail time that he may be facing?
It's highly possible. I mean, when you're feeling anxious or get somebody the fuck else in here, man.
He's gonna need all that bubble wrap in jail. That's what.
Oh, hell yeah!
You gotta protect his butthole with that stuff, man.
Man, you don't want to motivate those guys to want to pop.
But is it possible? In all
you better put some styrofoam on that, dude.
In all seriousness, you know, we know that there's all this talk, and I don't even know how much, you know, how much stock we should have in it. I don't have much stock in it. That, oh, he might leave Mayweather Promotions. He's not happy over there, yada, yada, yada. You know, and there's been a lot of talk about that the last week or so. Do you think that in any way has anything to do with the potential jail time that he may be facing?
Are you asking the panel or like?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Anybody that feels that in some way it could be related.
Okay, Julius. First of all, can you tell us, please, short version of what happened in that case?
Okay, short version. Gervonta Davis was driving with an expired driver's license. That's one.
Okay.
He ran a red light. That's two. People got injured. Several people. That's three. And he fled the scene. That's four.
Any damage to public property?
Yes.
Okay, the thing is, I think when you assault or damage other people, you can settle up in a civil case.
Yes.
You can, but if you damage public property, I think it's a little bit more difficult because I don't know how it works in that state, but generally, um, the el sistema judicial
Uh-huh.
is forced to apply the at least the minimum penalty.
No, pero también la otra vaina es que even if you were able to settle with the people out of court and compensate them for what injuries they sustained, you still broke a law. So the municipalities are still supposed to get involved. You ran a red light and you were driving with an expired license. You know, you didn't have a license, essentially. You were driving with a suspended license. So because of that, because of that, the municipalities have to get involved. They have to. You know, if it were just okay, well, you were driving like a dickhead, but you had a license, you know what I mean? Well, you could pay them some money and make it go away. But because you weren't, and you fled the scene of the accident. So when authorities arrived, you weren't there.
Is this all on CCTV?
I believe I remember reading that it was when news first broke about the case last year.
Ooh.
Oh, he's fucked.
That's what I mean. That I'm like, I don't really know if he could beat it. If I'm being real, I don't know if he could beat it.
Well, Jules,
I feel like
here's
Mayweather
my take. Here's my take right quick. Okay, so like back before when he was on, when he was signed to Mayweather Promotions, like they may have helped him get out of this. But since he's leaving, they may have just washed their hands and be like, okay, good luck, bro. You're on your own now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, let me read the super chat. Shout out to Openda Gates. I appreciate that. Shout out to George. George says, Kambosos, Haney's going to be too drained to win. That's a genuine possibility. We've talked about that many times here on the channel, that he's big for lightweight, and he's a young guy whose body's still growing. He could be weight drained, and that could affect his punch resistance. Back to Gervonta, I just don't see how you beat a case like that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just very hard to win a case like that. Now, you know, maybe he doesn't get, you know, maybe they don't find him guilty on all 14 misdemeanor charges because there are 14 of them. You understand? He turned down a plea deal that they offered him. And when I read that, I thought to myself, well, if he turned down a plea deal, I guess his legal counsel must be confident that they can win. That's the only thing I got out of that he could have got a reduced sentence that would have been less than being found guilty of all 14 charges. But his legal counsel turned that down. So that kind of tells me, oh, well, maybe they're confident they can win. But, you know, even still, like, bro, how do you beat that? You weren't even supposed to be driving. You didn't have you weren't supposed to be driving. You ate a red light. You caused the accident. You fled the scene. Like, that's a slam dunk of stupid fuck shit. Like, you a stupid fuck.
I mean, first off, I can't believe people are still driving without licenses. Are you serious?
Let alone guys who's supposed to have millions of dollars, my guy.
I'm a car salesman, bro. Everybody comes and applies with Texas IDs, state IDs. It's like, it surprises me how many people I see without a license.
But you know what makes it extra stupid, bro? Que ese tipo tiene dinero. Él no es millonario, una vaina así. Él pelea en shows. Ese tipo tiene millones. ¿Cómo va a ser que un tipo que tiene todo ese dinero, like your affairs, your basic affairs, basic stuff is not in order?
Que no está en el video that he left and then he came back for a bag and then he left again. He came back to the car and then he went back. He left again.
Es que ese tipo, por eso es que, y tú sabes, that's why I don't pity him, because it's like, yo, dog, like, what is there to pity? You're a fucking moron. Like, you're an idiot. Like, there's nothing to feel, you know, like, oh, it's such a tragedy. No, bro, you deserve to go to jail. You shouldn't be on the road.
What type of car was he driving?
I think they said it was an SUV. I don't know why. I remember hearing it was an SUV. I think it was. I remember hearing that.
Lamborghini SUV. That's what it was.
Lamborghini SUV. All right.
Oh, you can get a Lamborghini SUV, but you can't get a license.
Apparently, the madness.
Oh shit!
I mean, honestly, like, what, you know, if he goes to jail, like who's really gonna miss him? Like, what is Gervonta Davis doing in boxing that's really significant anyway?
I mean, I have a deeper question, Jay. If he does go to jail, right, What does who carries the Mayweather Promotions banner? You know, who's gonna be Leonard's next guy?
Oh, I know.
Is that who you think it
Yo,
is?
but what if
Yeah,
Tank can't
you
knock
got it.
him out, bro? What if he can't? Because
I
we
mean-
all know he's got one of those retard heads.
No, I mean honestly, look, Tank couldn't knock out a one-legged Gamboa until the 12th round. We talk about it all the time. And with Isaac Cruz, you know, Isaac actually went the distance. Rolly is a bigger guy and a younger guy than those guys. He is, you know. So I mean, it just doesn't sound as crazy as, at least not to me, thinking about those things. That not like that big moron. He might actually go the distance. He might.
And that's the thing with the situation coming up. I'm just saying, little side bet Rolly on points.
Listen, there's already people out there that think that Rolly's the one, that he's going to be the one that does it. There's people like Ronnie. Shout out to Ronnie. He told me that shit months ago. He think that, yeah, Rolly going to be the one to do it because he's a big moron that doesn't box. He just throws stupid retard punches. He don't box, bro. You think he going to be sitting there, you know, shooting a jab and trying to create the openings and all that bullshit? Like, no.
I remember the last time I seen him try to do it, I nearly cried.
Bruh. All right, like,
You think Mayweather might conspire against him? If it's a close decision, they'll just give it to Rolly.
I mean, that's a genuine possibility because if you know that those are petty guys. Like, look at Leonard Ellerby. He wanted to fight Eddie Hearn just because Eddie said ain't nobody talking about his show. He was really in his feelings about that, right? So
Eddie
imagine
whooped his
this. Yeah, he whoop his ass. Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt about that. You see how he folded up Frank Smith? He folded him up like a beach chair with a body shot 2 times. You know, like they're petty guys. So if Gervonta Davis is even considering leaving Mayweather Promotions and shit like that, and that's not the first time he's been upset with them, but if he's genuinely thinking about leaving the company, yeah, they might jerk him on the cards. Why would they do him any favors? For what? Unless
He's going bye-bye anyways. So.
he could be going up he could be in the bank for the next couple of years. Get sorry.
By the way, Jules, quick question. The Cruz Gamboa fight, is that really the co-main on Spence Ugas?
Yes, it is. They switched it from a Montes Stanionis versus Butaev to that.
Why the fuck would they do that?
Because they have no intention of matching Spence against the winner of that fight. That's the short answer.
Is that fight still on that card though?
It is, but it's on the non-pay-per-view portion of the card.
What the level of fuck?
I know.
That's what I just said. Oh
That's
my God.
arguably the best fight on the card,
It is.
including
That's
that Spence. On paper, like, look, I get titles and that, right? 3 belts, cool. Like, that thing is someone gonna piss blood at the end of that fight.
Oh yeah, somebody like that's good to me.
That's violence.
To me, that's almost, if not better than the main event in terms of the kind of fight it's gonna. Because Butaev ain't gonna be in there jabbing with you and playing with you, and neither is Stanionis. They both gonna go for it.
And you fucking jokers at the PBC, take that off the co-main and put it on the untelevised version of the pay-per-view.
No. It's gonna be televised. It's gonna be it's gonna be televised. That's
What's the co-main?
The co-main is, get this, Cruz versus Gamboa.
No, you gotta be fucking around.
I'm not playing, dog. I'm not playing.
That's why I had to ask, just to make sure. I just like once I saw it, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Bro. Now let me read this super chat. Devin is gambling on himself. Meanwhile, crying Ryan Garcia is in De La Hoya's daycare, and Jeep Davis is posting top rank employees' phone numbers on Twitter for the crime of trying to give him word. Like they tried to do him a favor. He gonna go down as one of the biggest idiots in boxing. I think.
Wait. It's out of him, bro. I think Broner might have him beat. So.
Because even Broner is kind of wising up. I know that he did a lot of dumb shit.
Lately, yeah.
But at least he letting the cat out the bag. They're like, yo, yeah, dog, guys is getting jerked over there. Virtuoso says, I don't know what all the excitement is about, this lightweight undisputed fight. The real fight to watch is between the 2 special Olympic athletes in May. That's right. God damn it. But yeah, I mean, he could be going away for a long time. He could be going away for a very long time. So,
well, if he does, bye, Felicia.
I mean, like I said, like I don't have. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Oftentimes, when I'm on the road, I'm with my daughter, my son, and my wife. So I have no pity for anybody that gets on the road and endangers other motorists for any reason whatsoever. If they
that's
throw,
fair.
if they throw the book at them and they find them guilty on all 14 counts, I don't give a shit. That's what you deserve. We don't need motherfuckers like you on the road getting people, endangering other people and shit. I said the same shit for Spence. I bet you that motherfucker was drunk when he flipped that Ferrari, bro. You could have killed somebody.
He could have killed himself. His daughters could have lost stuff, could have orphaned his kids.
He didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a shit.
He didn't seem to give a shit about that. So
He should have just rode his horse to the bar.
That would have been a dope shit at JBN. Si él llega con el caballo, mira, parqueame el caballo. That shit would have been the toughest shit ever in the history of ever. Pull up to the club on a horse, you come out, it's like 30 pounds of horse shit. It's like 30 pounds of horse shit. Like, bro, your horse just took a shit. You gotta clean that shit up, bro.
Ya bien borracho, nada más lo lleva a la gasolinera y le mete la gas el güey, el caballo.
Sí, ya tú sabes, you put the gasoline pump up the horse's ass and you're ready to go.
Right quick, question for Jules of the panel. Like, has anybody seen Spence's training videos on bag? Anybody seen his bag work?
I have. It's all very it's all cut very nice, to be like cinematic and things like that. It's all cut very nice, but it's not very convincing.
Me either. I don't really like the way he looks.
I don't like the way he sounds or the way he looks, but I don't want to be too I don't want to be that guy that always is disagreeable. But it's like, dog, if you really ask me, am I confident he's gonna win? No, I'm not. I'm not confident.
I saw that. I'm like, okay, I might have to go with Ugas for the upset. He does not. He doesn't look himself.
Real shit, yo.
Spence outside your house, IQ.
Yeah, he just showed up, bro. He's gonna do a. He just showed up, bro. He's gonna do a Q&A and shit. But nah, man, no. I'm honest to God. I look at Ismael Salas. I think about how Spence has been out for a year. I think about the kind of boxer that Ugas is, that he's a good counter puncher and he's not a small guy. He doesn't need right up on you to touch you with shots, counter shots. And I'm like, yo, dog, like, nah, I mean, it doesn't look good. Like, at minimum, I wouldn't bet. At minimum, I'd say, nah, I can't bet on Spence. I can't.
He's like, plus, what is he's a year and a half, like almost a year and a half removed from coming off a year and a half layoff, ain't he?
Yeah, like it's just it all looks bad, bro. It all looks bad, like, to be honest.
Doesn't look good.
So I think
feel
about
like
that.
If he wins, it's gonna be controversial. That's what I think. If he wins, it's gonna be controversial.
You think, like a narrow points win where
if it goes the distance, it will, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Ugas might not have a choice to. I mean, he's gonna have to shut him out from like for most of the rounds, or go for the knockout, try to stop him.
Well, let me say this: more than Ugas, the man training him, Ismael Salas, ¿verdad? Ese tipo sabe la situación. He knows what the situation is. Like, we all know what the situation is. So I feel like if Ismael is preparing him for something, it would have to be to stop Spence. If I'm Salas, like, mira, Uga, we got to stop this guy, bro. If we want to win, we have to stop him. So that's what we're going to get you ready to do. We're going to get you to go out there, assert yourself early, and take him out. He's been out a while. Don't let him find his rhythm. Don't let him get into a groove as the fight progresses. You get on him early. Take him out.
Because what I think is, like, one thing that I think most people are kind of neglecting is Spence hasn't stopped anybody in a long time, and Ugas has never been stopped.
Yeah, he's never been stopped. The only person that I think could stop Ugas at this point is Ugas's wife, because she's a bad woman.
I thought you was going to say Bud.
Shit. You know what I'm saying? Mark, who's going to win that fight?
Well, I previously said Ugas, and I was really, really strong on that. With Ismail's comments, I'm not a big fond idea of you talking about a man being weaker than before as a trainer, because it could just unconsciously, you could be preparing for something weaker. Then I would always prepare for the best. Even if you go out there and you want to go aggressively, but expect the best version of. That's the only thing I would hope for. I'm still leaning towards Ugas. I'm leaning towards him stopping him late. And I've said it from the beginning. Had that argument with Tim Bradley about it. So I'll stick to my hunches on it. Ugas late stoppage.
I want to say that we heard. Shout out to Tony Boswell, friend of the channel. Appreciate you, Tony. I want to say that we heard that kind of talk from Ismael Salas ahead of the Manny Pacquiao fight. That hey, I beat him before. He was saying that kind of stuff, just stuff that kind of gave off that same energy. And for me, when I saw, because I watched the Fight Hype interview here on YouTube earlier today with Ismael Salas, and that was the same energy that I was getting. No nonsense. This is the situation energy. We all know who the A-side fighter is. We all know who the promotion is really behind. Ismael Salas is he ain't fucking Ben Davison, you know what I mean? Like he's been around and he knows how to train a guy for an upset. While he didn't train Kazuto for the Tanaka fight, because COVID restrictions, blah, 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 even though he was in his corner though, he's been his trainer for a very long time.
They did do the online coaching thing.
Exactly. They did do the online coaching thing. He prepared Joe Joyce for Daniel Dubois. Hector Garcia, who just battered Chris Colbert. That's one of Salas's fighters. He might not have been
Arias overheard.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. He was an
Jay, this is what I'm trying to tell everybody. They're like, yo, dog, this guy, like, when he's a guy who I'd be concerned. I would be, if I was a Spence fan, yes, I'd be concerned.
Oh, yeah, fuck, man. Yeah. Ugas is in good hands. I got Ugas for the upset now. I'm convinced.
Andrew is asking, has Spence versus Ugas outsold Canelo versus Saunders like they said it would? We know.
Jay, you pay attention to drugs much more than I do with boxing. What's the situation with VADA on this?
According to Victor Conti, there is no VADA. And I did not see, VADA usually, I'll check again right now because it's easy. I'll check again on VADA's website.
Isn't he the main advisor now for VADA?
Yes,
Victor
he is.
Conte?
Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, then that's pretty much gospel.
No, I know. I just like to double check. I know. I just like to double check because it's easy.
Yeah, because Spence is looking really, really ripped. Like, and more ripped than I've seen him in a few years. I'm just
listen. He could be ripped. Ain't no steroids for that eye. No motherfucking steroids for that eye, bro. So what I'm saying. Hey, and another thing, performance enhancing drugs, believe it or not, don't always yield great performances. Just ask Ryan Martin. He was on performance enhancing drugs when he shat it against Josh Taylor. You would have never thought this guy was on performance enhancing drugs, watching him underperform round after round.
Shout out to Eric Molina.
It happens, bro. Motherfucker take a pad and he might as well not have taken the goddamn shit.
Damn.
It's
if you want to see performance enhancing drugs work, though, check out Virginia Fuchs.
Oh, come on, leave her alone. I want to get an interview with her. Don't get me in no trouble.
Okay.
I want to get an interview with her. And I wanted to ask you guys about profiles and cuckery. You guys didn't get to participate in the conversation about our you know what I'm saying? I know you guys didn't get to. I know you guys weren't here for profiles and cuckery. So just what did you guys think about? What you guys think? That's facts. Facts.
Yo, Jay, you fucking wild, man.
So what did you guys think about the whole, just the slap and just all of that? Just what did you make of that?
It was uncalled for. He shouldn't have done that. And if it was somebody else on that stage, he wouldn't have went up there.
He wouldn't have went up. I do agree with that. All fuckery aside, that if it were Dave Chappelle, I don't think he would have went up there. I think he would have shouted. I think he would have shouted across the room, but I don't actually think he would have went up there and did that.
Nah, Chappelle will fuck him up.
Fuck him up. Like Chappelle. Listen, Chappelle. He's my favorite comedian, but he from the streets, bro. Like, nah, you ain't going up there and doing that shit, bro. Not to him. You do it to Chris, because Chris let everybody know he a joke teller. He ain't trying to be out here fighting motherfuckers. Bet you he wouldn't have did that if it was Mike Epps. Nah, you ain't going up there if it's Mike Epps, bro.
No, not Day Day. Not Day Day.
Not Day Day.
You see, the thing is, though, Jay, Chappelle wouldn't have done a joke that would have been a straight up insult. It would have left them both questioning whether or not she was insulted, because he's on a different level.
He is on a different level, though. Like, if you ask me, I'm a big, I don't say this often, but I'm a big comedy fan, even though I don't like comedies as in terms of movies, but I like good stand-up. You know what I mean? And I have to say, honest to God, you know, I saw Eddie Murphy stand-up. I saw some of Richard Pryor's old stuff, some of the Cosby vintage stuff. I seen Cat. Cat is Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart. Like, he had his moment. I don't put those two guys, Cat and Kevin, up there with Chappelle. To me, you got to put Chappelle with George Carlin, with Richard Pryor. It's
he's
iconic.
He's an iconic comedian. He's different league.
Yes.
Oh, he's honestly Chappelle. He's transcended everybody. He really has.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of comedians, and he's your favorite comedian's favorite comedian. Think of it like that.
Because I was always, you know, when I was young, I used to watch Def Comedy Jam. I watched You So Crazy. You know, I watched both of Martin's first two big stand-up acts. You know, and even Martin, like, I think Martin was great, but I honestly believe that Chappelle was better. I've seen them all. You know, I've seen a lot of guys come through, a lot of guys come and go. And honestly think, you got to put Chappelle up there with Pryor, bro. Yeah, you got to put him up there with Pryor. I wouldn't put Kevin up there, Cat or Mike. Nah, but Dave? Yeah, I would have to put him up there, dog. Like, he's that funny.
Yeah, because Kevin has the marquee value, but
yes,
in terms of pure comedy, it's not there.
And Chappelle. it's just a lot of short joke. And you know, I mean, like, it's not like it's not funny. Like, yeah, I did laugh. You know, like, yeah.
I think it was funny. What's funny about Kevin Hart, I didn't really like him at first when he first came out, like the movie So Plain, Scary Movie 3. But then, like, I caught two of his stand-up specials. I'm like, oh, he's actually pretty funny. But like not on Chappelle's level though. Not on Chappelle's level. No way. Nowhere near.
Look, he is. Kevin Hart's really funny.
He is,
and I laugh quite a bit. Like, I'll laugh. Let's say he tells 20 jokes, I'll probably laugh at 12.
Yeah.
My stomach is in agony when I watch Dave Chappelle. Like,
yeah,
I pretty much go through a full training camp.
Yeah.
By the time I'm finished with the Chappelle special, and. To comment quick on the Will Smith Chris Rock thing, Jay. Just to comment real quick on it. It's just really, really, really surprising to me that you can let her take a dick, but you can't take a joke.
Yo, talk about it, bro. Because that doesn't, to me, the whole thing doesn't make sense to any man that is a man. That I'm like, bro, you love her that much that you're willing to let her take other dick, but she can't take a joke. That doesn't make sense, bro.
Man, I have a feeling that this whole shit's gonna go all the way into August.
Probably.
Okay, the other thing, what is the deal with G.I. Jane? What's wrong with her? She's smoking hot in that movie.
Listen, let me say this, Leo. I honestly believe, and I said it before, I believe that what Will Smith did to Chris Rock, what he did to him is what Wilder did to Radio Raheem. You pigeonholed him because you knew that you could, you know, like you chose a battle. You were confident you could win. In other words, it was some weak shit. It's like when Keith Thurman called out Paulie Malignaggi. It's like that. Like, bro, like, come on, B. You know damn good and well, if Mike Epps was up there, you don't go up there, bro. You not going on, like, because you know he gonna fight though. Like, yeah, you smack him, but it's gonna be a fight, bro. Believe that. Like you did that to Chris because you familiar with Chris. You know Chris. and you probably know that he not going to shoot them joints with you. Let that have been somebody else. And then the people clapping for this shit. I'm like, bro, was y'all clapping when y'all heard she was getting August all in her sauerkraut? Was y'all clapping at that shit? Was y'all worried about their marriage? Because y'all care so much about their marriage, right? That he got to protect his wife and all that bullshit. And I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here with y'all weirdo ass millennial bullshit. Y'all the reason we in the 25th dimension right now, the 25th world. Everybody don't know what that is, but for those that know, y'all know. Y'all weird motherfuckers is the reason we gonna end up, society gonna end up collapsing. You fucking weirdos.
Okay, I think the reason why they defend him in the ceremony, all these guys, Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, is because, okay, I think Will Smith can take a joke, about himself, but all those guys, all those Hollywood guys, they don't have a sense of humor. They have a comic, a presenter to the Oscars, but to entertain the public, the viewers, but at the expense of the people that they're in the gala, they're in the ceremony. But those guys, they don't want to be joked about. They don't. So when they year after year, every guy, there is this guy, this English guy. How is he called?
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, talking trash about all these guys, and nobody can say anything. So Will Smith go and slap the guy, and everyone, yeah, Will, because he was getting revenge for all those people making fun for all those years. Because
I think it was. I also think it was virtue signaling, Leo. I think it was one of those things to where they go the easy route and the cheap route because it's much more awkward if we have to reprimand Will, if we have to call, if we have to call a spade and say, yo, Will, why you smacking that man? Don't do that. The fuck wrong with you?
The other thing is Cap. Will Smith was laughing at first with the joke. He saw Jada, he saw her, that he made a face, and then he got mad about the joke.
Yeah,
But
I mean, look, it could have been. It could have been. Honestly, I think that a lot is made of that, and I think it could be a delayed reaction. It could be a lot of things. It could be that he was trying to laugh it off, but his body told him, "No, we can't laugh this off." It could be a lot of things, but it's not even just them two. It's that like, I knew off top, that's some weak shit. Like once everything processed, like, bro, how you gonna smack Chris out of all people, but you ain't beat the shit out of August for fucking your wife? That don't make sense. That makes no sense.
Jules, it's because he's a beta broken male, unfortunately, and he made himself look really bad by doing that. He had no self-restraint. He should have settled it off camera, and he didn't.
I agree. I agree with that. We got Lady Chan in the building. Lady Chan.
Lady.
Hey,
Lady
Chan.
Lady Chan. Hey,
Lady Chan, I want to get a female perspective on this. First, let me read the super chat. Mr. D-Lo, Dave tells gripping stories. It sets him apart. Yes, he does. Lady Chan, everybody's talking about the Will Smith shit. We ain't nothing but a bunch of gossips in this motherfucker, so let's gossip. Let's talk that shit. What's your interpretation of the shit? Was he right to do it? Was he wrong to do it? Just what is your interpretation of the shit?
Oh, it was definitely wrong to do it. It was a bitch move. There was no reason for him to do it because he was laughing at the joke first and foremost. And then when he came back from slapping Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett was laughing as well until he started shouting and cursing. Then I think maybe she thought it was a sketch at first, because if she was that bothered, why was she laughing when she thought he pretended to slap him? And then her face changes, like she looks over at him when he's swearing and she thinks, oh shit. But no, Will Smith would have never done that if that was Seinfeld. I agree
with that.
If that was
like Gilbert Gottfried, if it was Gilbert exact, if it were Bernie Mac, a Gilbert Gottfried, or Seinfeld, or like a lot, it's hard to imagine that he would have done that to anyone but Chris. It's
Yeah.
like, of course you did that shit to Chris. You know,
Yeah.
Chris is not that guy, and we know that. But this guy's out there, you could read it in a mannerism. They're like, nah, he ain't gonna go for that, bro. You put hands on that man, it's about to be a fist fight at the Oscars,
Right.
depending on who the guy is.
Why wasn't
Right.
there any security that like jumped up?
It
I
was
just find it weird, or in its whole entirety. It's all strange.
I would say it's because it was a surreal moment. It was a surreal moment. It took me I had to watch it. I had to watch it about 6 times to believe the shit.
Yeah, me too.
All right. But it's real shit going on out here.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. I think the Oscars are thinking about taking back his shit. He was at the after party straight away, laughing, holding the Oscar up. So I don't know. He could have addressed Chris Rock like elsewhere or whatever. I don't know why he chose to publicly do that. August Alsina was piping her down. He didn't have any talk for him. 50 Cent released all the text messages and telling him your wife was getting her back blown out. You had no words for him. So I want to see him keep the same energy when he bumps into 50 Cent next, when he bumps into August Alsina next.
Yes.
Let's see if he slaps them then. And if he does, then respect to him.
Then respect. But I am gonna say that, look, this is what I know. I've been a man for as long as I've ever been born, right? And I cannot rationalize how a joke would bother you that much, but somebody banging your wife, no, that's all right. Like, no.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense. Or is it that the guy banging your wife, you were never okay with that, but you let it go on, and you're gonna take it out. You're gonna take it out on someone who will allow you to take it out
on the easy target.
Exactly.
I have an answer. I have an answer. Does anybody think that possibly this whole thing could have been staged?
It's possible.
It could have been, but you know they've got body language experts. I was watching it. I was learning some interesting stuff, and they was analysing the body language, and they all seemed to deem, and they were all top body language experts. They all seemed to deem that it was real, in their opinion.
Well, Chan, he just won the Oscar. So
no. I see your point. But there's certain things. See, this is the thing, right? The slap, he didn't. It's like, all right, a lot of people look at the slap and say that it was a weak slap, and I'm like, yeah, it looked like a weak slap because when he went up there, he was nervous. He couldn't. At least my interpretation of it was when Will approached that stage, he was nervous because he realized what he was doing. He wanted to do it, but he didn't fully commit to it because, like, are you really gonna slap somebody during the Oscars? It's like he knew almost like, yo, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And when he sat down, you look at his eyes is welling up, and I'm like, well, I know he's an actor, but I'm like, nah.
And how bothered can you be if you're okay? So you've got a hair condition where your hair falls out, but you had your eyebrows still in. Because if you look at Ugas, he really does have alopecia, and he has no eyebrows. And I've got a couple of friends that do have alopecia, male, and they don't have eyebrows either. But if you were that self-conscious about it, Jada Pinkett, you could throw on the best lace front wig.
That's true.
Going, you could have did that, knowing that Chris Rock as well, and you're going to be sitting at the front row because your husband is getting an Oscar. You're going to be a butt of a joke somehow. I
mean, more importantly, it's like I definitely see your point that, okay, if it bothered you that much to where your husband is going to get out of it, if it's that much of a sore spot, there are many ways to disguise it.
Right.
But it's just honestly, it seems to me that Will just wanted to pigeonhole somebody, take out his frustration, because I can't imagine the last 24 months have been easy for him. People knowing the things that they know about him now that they didn't know about him before. They're like, yo, dog, your living situation is really fucking weird. You're really fucking weird.
They're all weird.
They're all weird.
They're all weirdos.
Yeah, he may have won the Oscar, but you know what? Ain't nobody talking about that Oscar he won at all.
Nope.
Thank you, country. Thank you, country.
Yeah. I mean, see. So I asked the question, like, what's he gonna be remembered for? Slapping the shit out of somebody or winning an Oscar? Which one?
Slap the shit out of somebody.
And overshadowed the
Live
entire.
TV.
And he's the moment for, you have to realize he's selfish because he's ruined the moment for Serena and Venus Williams as well. That
Yep.
their life
Oh
story,
yeah.
it's got praised enough that the actor that played their father is winning an Oscar, and now it's all in disrepute. Like he's messed up. It's a domino effect. It just hasn't messed up him. He's messed up a special event for the people that he says he fights for and who he loves, and yeah, he fucked it up.
All that crazy shit. Samuel L. Jackson, for the first time in his career, was awarded an Oscar, but nobody's talking about that because, Will wanted to monopolize all the attention, throw his toys out of the pram. It's crazy. We're going to move on from that. I think we spent enough time on that.
Yeah.
Jarrell Miller is helping Tyson Fury to prepare for the Dillian White fight. I think we all agree that it's good sparring. It is good sparring because Jarrell is a mid-range to inside fighter like Dillian. So as far as sparring, good sparring partner. But realistically, and I'm going to start with Lady Chan, he's on the eve of his ban being lifted for the Peds. But who's going to actually sign this fucking guy?
Nobody.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody should. I mean, you've popped Dirty twice back to back. So you haven't fought since 2018. You've messed up a lot of bags along the way. You've fucked up. I think people like that should just be banned for life, in my opinion. Banned. He has no respect for the sport, clearly, and he probably doesn't. He probably hasn't got that much confidence within his natural ability, if he has any, because we don't know when, if he was ever clean in his career.
I don't think he ever was, to be honest. He got popped in kickboxing.
Was that in 2014, I think?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, to me, he's always been, and it's all right if he's on Peds. I'm on fucking Peds. Jose, who's going to sign this guy? All right, Jose. I don't think they're going to sign him.
What's up, guys?
Let's go, Jose. Who's going to sign this guy, bro?
So sorry, I was busy because my IG just got hacked, and I'm like kind of pissed right now. Sign who? To be honest,
Big Pharma.
Sign who?
Big Pharma, Big Baby Miller.
I mean, su mamá lo va a filmar, like. Come on, man! Like that guy's been, I don't know, like he looks very promising when he started it, because I was like, wow, this guy has like he's very talented, but he went like his own PVC route, and then he got popped a couple of times, haciendo lo que era, like going around with bras and getting robbed and all these other things, and missing up weight. Well, not missing up weight, but just blowing up in weight, like being out of shape and looking pedestrian.
Ese tipo es demasiado gordo, man.
Man, que ese tigre se la pasa comiendo McDonald's, man. Yo, ese pana se la pasa comiendo McDonald's. Yo, he's on a batch about us. Like, yo, like, if you're gonna fight you, bro, like, I know I just have to wait till, like, bro, 2 more Big Macs and you mine, bro.
Listen, it's just that for him to be 3, because you could be 300 pounds so long as you carry the weight. It's all about your frame. But it makes absolutely no sense for him to walk around like just to be that heavy. Like, bro, I seen him when he was a kickboxer. He was actually really trim, when he was a kickboxer. He was like, like a match fit, for lack of a better word. Whereas you see him now,
what happens?
Like, does he have like a thyroid problem or some shit? Like, why?
It was
Lo que pasa es que he's getting the boxing money, though. He's not getting that scrub money that he's getting in the UFC. So his lifestyle all of a sudden changed from like a regular on-the-card fighter. And remember, nobody knew who the hell he was in the UFC. But all of a sudden in boxing, he have a little bit of notoriety.
He was getting decent purses. He was getting decent sized purses. En ese tiempito que está con Macho, he was getting decent money.
Tú sabes también, like, you never can like underestimate like insecurities from other people, because he looked to me like very insecure to me. Like when I see people that really like extroverted to the point they're like obnoxious, like to me they're really insecure to me, and like you can see it from him, like taking like sexual performance enhancers and
Oh,
shit like that.
sí, did you guys hear about that? He had the dick.
Viagra.
Like,
He
dude,
had
like,
the
mira,
no,
mira una
not even no,
cosa.
espera, not even Viagra because you need a prescription for that. He was getting dick pills from the cashier. Like
Exactamente, yo, like, bro, like,
You know, you don't
He
need
probably getting it
like,
from
Viagra.
John Jones. That's who
You
he's
know, in
getting
the
it from.
UK, you don't need a prescription to. You
yo,
can buy that over the counter, Viagra.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
¿Por qué no dijiste eso
like, yo,
antes?
¿cómo tú me vas a decir? Like, you under, like, 45 years old and you taking, like, you know, like, those pills, bro? Like, come on, like, ¿qué tú me estás diciendo, bro? Like, who the hell are you trying to
No,
impress? Like,
pero
you're an
también tú
athlete,
sabes
dude.
que
Like,
eso fue, mira, eso fue una excusa que él dio because remember, in all seriousness, he probably didn't actually take those pills. That was the explanation that he was trying to give the second time he got popped when he had after all the shit with AJ and Matchroom, and then he went to Top Rank and then he got popped. He tried to say many months after the shit that it probably came from some pills that he bought, like some dick pills that he bought at the store. And I'm like, bro, so it's either you telling the truth and your meat don't work.
Well, with all those steroids,
That's the
or a
same
little bit
excuse
of
that
both.
John
with
Jones
steroids,
used.
it doesn't work. That's what happens. That's a
Pero
side
también tú
effect.
sabes lo que pasa, yo creo.
Yeah, they don't work with them.
que la droga le mató el huevo.
Eso. Y también tú sabes, like, he been looking like more and more out of shape and he need a little bit of help, dude. Like, he cannot be carrying that weight, like, all around the ring and
Oh,
taking
okay,
punches, you know
okay.
what I mean?
Mira, te
And
voy a
his neck
decir
look
algo.
like como un gordo, tú sabes.
Te voy a
Like, his
decir
neck
algo,
look very
mira.
healthy.
Toda la vaina del huevo se trata de la sangre y la presión alta. So que cuando no, pero esto es la verdad, por eso
Pero
es
es
que
verdad, loco, es
so
verdad.
so look, he's like if you look at Jarrell Miller, you could honestly say that he's a bit morbidly obese for his frame. And honest to God, with the frame that he has, he might actually have fucking ED. Like no cap. Like he probably like on the borderline of diabetes because like yo, the dude is mad big for no reason. Like, bro, you
Yo,
an athlete, bro.
when you openly admit that you eat McDonald's, like Big Macs, like, and you like actually addicted to it, like some type of Shaq shit. Because to me, he's very reminiscent to Shaq, in my opinion. Pero tú sabes, una versión como gorda y una loser version.
No, pero la
But
verdad
to
es la
me, he's
verdad.
really, yeah, he's just disappointed to me though, because to me, he actually had like talent when he started it though. Like he
So
was swift.
let me say this because I just thought of someone who might sign him to go somewhere where nobody's gonna really care about his history. See, para ser un opponent, te voy a decir, espera, te voy a decir, if he signs to Pro Bellum, right? They could feed him to either Ivan Ditchko or Jalalov. They need opponents. Those two guys need opponents. And right now, Jalalov, he's probably one of the more dangerous blue chip prospects coming through the heavyweight division. Like he's a guy who I could see like, yo, if they don't do the right thing, he's gonna get Hergovic. People are gonna avoid him, because he's a high risk, low reward. So one of the familiar faces that you could feed him is Jarrell Miller because Matchroom ain't gonna have nothing to do with him, and neither is Top Rank. Golden Boy ain't gonna do nothing with this guy. He already done been there and done that with the PBC. He left them for Matchroom.
As of right now, like most promotional companies, they just looking for like future champions, prospects, and guys.
Ellos le dieron un contrato a ellos le dieron un contrato a Donny Niete. Ese tipo no va a pelear por título. Ese tipo ya tiene como 40 y pico años. ¿Qué?
No, pero es una. That's a sacrifice line, you know what I mean?
Okay. También firmaron a Badu Jack. Ese tipo casi tiene 40 años. ¿Qué?
The problem
Badu Jack ni cuando tenía 23 se veía, like. To me, Badu Jack and what's his Eubank, to me, like they did the same thing, you know?
No, eso no se puede decir. Si tú le miras el resume a Badu Jack, he fucking fought people, bro. He fought a lot of fucking good people. Eubank
he's based in Dubai now.
Yeah, and he has his own promotional company. Like he's doing his own thing. Essentially, what I'm getting at is the people at Pro Bellum, right? Y ya se sabe que that's fucking Daniel Kinahan. Todo el mundo sabe eso, que that's Daniel Kinahan. ¿Tú crees que le importa un cojón a Daniel Kinahan que este tipo está lleno de droga? No,
Hey,
he
Jules.
doesn't care, bro.
Yeah, but
They don't need
Hey,
that.
Jules.
Está lleno de
This guy-
droga, no le sirve el huevo.
He won't. 'Cause
el,
Yo,
proble-
he's
el problema
actually
que tiene este
damaged
tipo,
goods, yo.
el problema que
He's
tiene este
actually
tipo,
damaged goods.
Espera, Leo, go ahead, Leo. Go ahead, Leo.
el problema con este tipo, Big Baby Miller, is even if you feed him, you try to feed him to a prospect, you have to trust this guy's not shit to the
But
date
he's
of the
not
fight.
though. But he's not though. He's not. Like if we're gonna look at Jarrell Miller comprehensively, right? All right, who's the best guys that he fought? Bogdan Dinu, a 4-round part-time boxer, and Fred fucking Kasi. He hasn't fought anybody, bro.
Oh,
Daniel Dubois touched him.
No, but, okay, espera un poco. Let's say you Provelum signs Big Baby Miller.
Uh-huh.
You have to. Where are the guys? What the guys did you say?
Bekadir Jalalov.
Okay, let's say you make a fight with Jalalov and Big Baby Miller. There is a very high chance that after days of the fight, Big Baby Miller gets popped. And
No,
the
because
fight
there's not
doesn't
gonna be no porque no va a haber body testing. No body testing.
Okay,
Yeah,
but if
porque
you,
it's WBA. They don't need it, do they? What
No,
is
pero
Okay.
tampoco porque eso no tiene que ser para un... mira, te voy a decir, déjame decirte. Right now, Bekadir Jalalov is a hot potato. You know, this is a guy who he's like a blue chip prospect, and he's just getting into the pro ranks. But everybody, the people that, you know, the boxers themselves, they know about him. The promoters themselves, they know about him. That's a guy that's gonna have a very hard fucking time getting fights, believe me. So you need a guy who's fucked up right now. And the good thing about Miller is he's still an unbeaten fighter. Like most people forget that he didn't lose to nobody. So if you could put him in there, like you tell him, like, look, we'll give you, let's say we give you about $1 million. You know, Kinahan got long money. Let's say we give you like 700,000 to $1 million. You know what I mean? You get in there with Bakadir. Bakadir not going to get a lot of money, by the way. He probably going to get less than Miller for the fucking fight because more people know Miller than they know Bakadir. But the idea is to get Bakadir in there with this guy so he could be the first guy to knock him out.
Can I ask a question? Is Varda only solely with the WBC or is it with WBA?
No, you can contract them. You don't even need to go through the WBC or even the WBA, the fair boxing program, which is a joke.
Yeah.
But you don't actually need to go through them to use VADA because they were around before they made that agreement with the WBC. Like, let's say I'm about to fight fucking me and Country about to fight, and we put it in our contract that no, there's going to be VADA testing. We can do that independently without involving the WBC. The WBC doesn't actually have to be involved. You can do that on your own because that's what Nonito Donaire had been doing before he even got the green belt back. So you can do that on your own.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jules, his best shot, PBC resigns him to go get coffee and do a little sparring.
Bro, even at this point, Country, I don't even think the PBC, I don't even think they would sign him because in the West, his profile is really bad. Like here in America and the UK, and you know, the West, like people like to call it, nobody fuck with Big Baby. But in Dubai, nobody knows who the fuck that man is. They don't know who the fuck that man
And they
is.
probably don't care.
Daniel Kinahan for real. That'll be the best bet. That's what they do anyway.
And if I'm being honest, I would pay to see Bakadir Jalalov knock him out. Just being honest, like to me, yeah, that's the fight, bro. Bakadir Jalalov. You feed him to that guy so that Bakadir will get a profile. Because right now, all he is another Olympian with a lot of fucking consonants in his name. Most people in the West don't even know that he medaled in the Olympics. They don't know him. But you could get the people in the West to know him if he knock out somebody that they know, like, oh, he knocked out Miller. Oh, shit. And Miller be on all them drugs?
Are you convinced
Oh, yeah.
Jalalov beats Baby Miller on pets?
Yes, even on PEDs, because Miller on PEDs was not like, this is the weird thing, and it was Lennox that told me this, but I believe him, though. And I noticed it myself, like, Miller's a volume puncher because he's not a one-hitter quitter guy. Like that, you know, that like that Wilder punch, that one-hitter quitter kind of power. He doesn't have that to just put the guy out. Jalalov is tall, athletic, and he's solid. Like you see how like LeBron is tall, but he's solid all the way through. He's not a lanky dude like Kevin Garnett. He's solid, that he got meat on his bones. That's how Jalalov is, that he's like a tall cat, but he's solid. He will beat the fucking shit out of Jarrell Miller. I don't have a doubt in my mind.
Yeah. How many? What's his stats? How many fights has he had?
I think he has like 2 fights. I think he has like 2 fights, 2-0. But right now, I honestly believe, he look at what he did to Sokolovsky, yo. Fucking took his
Our favorite daddy, man.
He fucking beat the shit out of Sokolovsky, yo. He made the shit look fucking easy as shit. Like he beat the fucking shit out of that dude, bro. Like, yeah, he'll beat Miller.
Damn.
As far as I'm concerned, there's only one big baby that I'm that I care about, and that's
Jared Anderson.
That's it.
Jared Anderson.
Yeah, that guy, man, he's gonna be a problem for a lot of people.
Future of USA heavyweight division.
That's real shit. Like I've been saying, that's the one. He's the one that's gonna carry the torch. Jared Anderson. That's the truth. And that kind of brings me to the next topic I wanted to touch on. We're 4 weeks out from Dillian White versus Tyson Fury, what is supposed to be that fight. And still, the only guy on the undercard is Isaac Lowe. And Isaac doesn't even it says to TBA, to be announced. They didn't even name who he gonna fight. So I'm starting to wonder, is this fight gonna happen?
Hey, Jules, I just got a quick question. Who's Isaac Lowe?
Say it again.
Creo que no.
Possibly not. That's weird. Look, we're 4 weeks out. We're 4 because Fury versus White is not on the 30th. It's the week before the 30th. It's the week before, and I'm like, really, we're like more like 3.5 weeks out. Really, like we're kind of like it's more like 3.5 to 4. And I'm like, hey, the undercard isn't set yet. Jared Anderson was supposed to be on it against Christian Hammer, but he pulled out. And all you have there is Isaac fucking Lowe. So is this fight gonna happen? I'm starting to wonder.
No, the fight is gonna get pushed back.
You think it's gonna honestly? You think it's gonna get pushed back?
Yeah.
Nope.
Fury's pulling out.
Not gonna get pushed back. It's just not gonna happen.
Probably. Probably. No
Fury
problem.
might pull out with some excuse.
You watch it. If it doesn't happen, Frank is going to be blaming Dillian for not promoting it. Probably.
Yeah.
Of course. So.
And and then they're just gonna they blame it on Dillian White, and then they're gonna say Tyson Fury's now just gonna fight someone else for
He'll have to set. That's what I was gonna say. He'll have to set because it's a kerfuddle. He'll have to sacrifice the WBC title because he's bound to the fight legally. He is bound to the fight, and you can't just skip out. You know that Tyson Fury doesn't give a shit. I'm the lineal a bunch of bullshit.
No man from his mother could ever beat the yada yada yada.
No man from his mother could ever a bunch of bullshit.
Man, hey, I came in late, and you guys might have talked about this, but how in the hell did Lopez get to number 2 at 140 without even entering the division?
Bruh, you want me to be honest, country? I don't forget the idealism shit, right? I don't think he should be there because I don't think he's match fit. Like psychologically, nah, he don't need to fight right now, yo. He don't need that ring, B. He don't. Nah, let him chill.
I mean,
get himself.
That's the elephant in the room right now, man. It's like, how in the hell did they do that with this guy?
Listen, we know how they did it because Bob has always had a way with the WBO. So as far as how, we know how. The question is why. He just had surgery on his hand. That's one. We can see that psychologically. Like, nah, bro, he ain't get over that shit. Like, he's not over it, yo. Like, to me, he's not ready to come back. I seen that Fight Hype interview, man. And I felt like a dad. Fuck being an asshole, because I'm usually just an asshole. But I felt like a dad because I seen the little boy in him. Like, yo, B, that dude need his family to, fill him up, lift him up, yo. You know what I mean? Because he hurting.
Especially when he came up with that whole scheme thing. Oh, it was a scheme to give Devin Haney a shot at undisputed.
Yeah, I'm
talking about
Bob's not on a sink or swim.
He's deluded.
He is.
He found out that they were going to try to make that Devin Haney fight.
Everything he said Wilder was that he was mocking Wilder for. He turned into it.
Yeah, honest to God, yeah. Honest to God.
He said Wilder was being a bitch.
Yeah, do you remember?
And now he's being a bitch.
Okay, but
Oh, that's car before you
besides-
right there, ain't it?
Yeah, he's wilding, man. He made Wilder look sane. That's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, you know what the thing is? This is the thing, right? I thought about it. And I'm like, you know what? For argument's sake, I'm gonna go with your version of the story. And even if I go with your version of the story where you were set up, even though you weren't set up, bro. I watched the fight. You fucking got beat, right? But let me just entertain you. Even in your version of the story, it's still your fault because we don't get here unless you do what you did. And what did you do? You didn't want to let Top Rank do the fight for their price. Oh, you gotta get all this fucking money. Gotta get all this fucking money. I'm like, yo, you should have just let Top Rank do the fight at their price so you can get it out the way, right? You can't keep making 135. Get the motherfucker out the way, get it over the line so you can move on to a big fight. And even worse, you see what he said? He said in there, oh, they knew I was going to move up right after that. Well, hold on. Smart guy.
What the hell?
So if you were going to move up right after that, why even do this then?
Yeah.
Why defend the titles then? Just go.
Yeah, I think that's a no as well. Yeah.
He's lost his mind. He's lost his mind. He's lost his mind.
Oh,
He
he's
really
gone.
has. He's done.
And you know what?
He's lost it.
That's a
His
no.
father is partially responsible for that too.
Partially.
All right.
Partially.
No. I mean, tell you something because, like, let's just say that the fight he had done the fight on Top Rank like he was supposed to do, like early last year, right? If the fight had played out the same exact way that we saw, then at the very least, he could have got away with a draw and kept his belts. That's what I'm
gonna
saying.
say this.
I reckon he would have won. If
I think he would have won.
He would have won the fight or got a draw, but either way, he would have kept.
No. He would have won. He would have won
no draw.
The main reason he would have won, I believe he would have won, and I don't say this to denigrate George Kambosos, but things just are the way they are, right? He wouldn't have spent as much time trying to make 135. He would have been fresher. That's the main thing. And all the drama that happened in between, you know, divorce, the stuff with the ex-wife and the kid. Yeah, like none of that, like that wouldn't have happened in that time span if you would have let Top Rank do the fight. What I will say is the memory that I have burned in my head, I don't know why, is when his dad, right before the fight, he walks into the gym, Kambosos, you fucking bitch. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with you, fam? Like, you're not fighting. What's the matter with you?
Hey, Kambosos' dad put hands on him. And that was hilarious. He mushed him in the face.
Yeah.
Guys, look, I am watching the WBO junior welterweight rankings, and I have to ask, who in the fuck is Liam Paro?
Liam Paro, no, I'm gonna tell you who he is. He was always there, and he fought in an eliminator a couple of months ago. He's an unbeaten Australian guy. Like it's not his name didn't suddenly pop up. It's just that Jack had the fight with Josh, and now that's out the way. So then you move Jack out the way, and Liam Paro was behind him. Like he didn't suddenly pop up. I saw him there. I just don't think nothing of it. Ideally, the way it should have broke down, if you ask me, is Jack Catterall. It should be Jack Catterall versus Liam Paro. That's the way that it should be. Jack should either let him fall behind Liam Paro or let him keep his spot at number 2 or number 1, however you want to do it. But to me, in an ideal world, the next eliminator would be Jack Catterall versus Liam Paro. But, you know, the WBO, they chose to fuck him. They chose like, no, fuck Jack Catterall. You fucking lost, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's what they did, basically. And the only reason we see all this shit with, Jose Ramirez, he's so worried about the WBO is because he don't want to deal with the guy that's at the WBC. The guy at the WBC is Regis. He don't want to deal with that dude, bro. I'm for whatever. I'm not going to say that he's scared. I'm just saying that, look, that's the dude you might have to go through for that belt. You either got to have a rematch with Chung or you got to fight Regis. You probably view Liam Paro as being more beatable than them. So that's why you're prioritizing that. And in some ways, so is Jack. Jack is there with Regis and Chung. And it's like, yo, if I'm them, you know, if you want a Regis fight, it's there if you want it because the WBC title, we all know all the titles about to go vacant. But you see that both Jose and Jack Cat. Oh no, WBO. Like, I see what y'all doing. Y'all want that Liam Bottle fight because you figure you can beat him easier than either Chong or Regis Prograis. It might come down to Regis Prograis and Chong, which is a great fight, by the way. We'll see. But you never know. They might fuck Regis out of that shit, man. Because that over there at the WBC is fucking up a lot of shit for a lot of people. Like, yo, they don't want to have to fight Regis, bro. That's a hard ass fight. Like, even if
is one thing that's sort of cut you off, Jules, but one thing that's confusing is like, okay, like not that long they named Sean the mandatory challenger. Now Regis won an eliminator that makes him mandatory. So who's the mandatory? You know,
the mandatory.
Like
listen. The mandatory. All I know is the mandatory was supposed to be Chong, but Regis did fight in an eliminator, and we know that because we saw post-fight he had the little WBC thing that they give you when you fight in an eliminator. So it's kind of looking like in the next set of ranked standings, number 1 and number 2 might be Chong and Regis, because Jose over here worrying about the WBO. You don't hear him saying nothing about the W. He worrying about the WBO. He got his fucking lawyer.
Oh, they're doing Regis at a Chong fight. That'll be the final eliminator. So,
hey, I like that fucking fight. I ain't mad at that shit. I like that fight. That's a good ass fight. I think Regis will knock him out personally, but hey, either way, I don't give a shit. I like the fight.
We still don't know, like, we still don't know where like Sean is really. We don't.
No, we don't, because like it's dope that it's dope that he knocked out Josue. Like, yes, that was a dope knockout, but because we didn't get to see you fight, we don't know if you shot. You might be shot.
It got him out of there in the round, but like that still didn't tell us much.
It didn't tell us nothing. When I seen him against Hank Lundy, he looked shot. He looked like a shot fighter.
Argue that he lost as well. So
and Hank Lundy shot. Fuck, he retired, did he?
Yes. That's why it's like, yo, bro, I think it's dope that he was able to make the young buck, that he was able to fault the young buck the way that he did, but it's deceiving because you knocked him out in a round. We didn't get to see you fight. We don't know if you shot. You caught him with a peach of a punch, great punch, but we don't really know where you at. And Regis, listen, man, that dude hit hard. You can see it when he fight. They're like, nah, that dude hit like above average hard. Like that dude would take you out.
That's a testament to Tyrone McKenna said that Regis was the hardest puncher you ever fought.
I mean, shit. I'm motherfucking knew that.
Hey, Jules, what's your opinion on Zordo wanting to move up to go against Makabu?
He's not gonna get that fight, bro. He's that's like, listen, he's desperate, but he's ultimately, regardless of what he wants, whether he means business or not, it doesn't matter. He's not getting that fight. No way. Don King is like, nah, bro. Like Don knows that Canelo's still fake looking at Makabu for the third fight. So he gonna do what he gotta do to keep him safe and cool to see if he could get that third fight. Like if one of you fucking guys want to fight my guy, right? I ain't gonna put him in no shit. If I'm gonna cash him out, I'm gonna cash him out to Canelo, not you. What the fuck I'm gonna get cashing him out to you?
Right.
He ain't gonna get that fight, bro. Zordo did the dickhead shit, and now he feeling that it was some dickhead shit. Why? You was at Top Rank where all the light heavyweights are, or most of them, and you chose to leave, bro. All the fights was there. Now you trying to get Bivol. Man, Bivol ain't worried about you. He about to fight Canelo.
Yep.
I mean, were Top Rank going to resign him?
They wanted. There was a WBO 4-man tournament that was ordered between Zordo Ramirez, Eleda Alvarez, Umar Salamov, and Maxim Vlasov. Joe don't even come into it until Zordo pulled out. That's when Joe came into the shit. But it was like, if you looked at the tournament, bro, Zordo could have beat those guys. You could have beat fucking Umar.
Really?
No. Okay. Con Vlasov.
That's what I was going to say. He struggled with Vlasov.
Pero yo estoy diciendo, pero también no te la pierdas. He beat Vlasov before. Most people don't know that. He knocked him out years ago.
That's right, he did.
He knocked him out years ago. So yo estoy diciendo que
right? 168.
Go look, bro. I swear to God, go look at. He been fought that dude and knocked him out years ago. Por eso es que yo estoy diciendo que it was a stupid move because the toughest guy you would have had to fight out of the 4 was Elater. But we see that Elater was fucking shot when he fought Joe. Ese tipo, he didn't have nothing left.
Oh,
Zordo could have won.
He could have won that
Okay.
tournament.
okay, he got a decision.
Oh, he got a decision. Oh, all right,
He got a
my bad.
decision.
He got it. All right, my bad. He got a fucking decision. Fucking shit.
Maybe I don't know how that
No
fight
te
looked.
dando mala información, man.
Mierda, coño. Okay, I fucking knew that they fought, so I still get points for that. I fucking knew.
Sí pelearon, es lo que importa, sí pelearon.
Crazy, Julian.
I got a question for the panel right quick. As usual, Earl Spence was of course interviewed, and he was hit with the Bud Crawford question. As usual, he gave a half-assed answer. Why can't this man just say yes or no? And my question is, like, if he beats Ugas, does he fight Bud after? All right, I know what my answer is. I just want to get everybody
He
else.
says he does, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's my answer. Like, this is the thing, right? And I've said this before. I'll just say it here again. This is the problem for Spence. You got a Montestanionis versus Butaev winner. They're fighting for you, for the winner of your fight. You have Castillo Clayton versus Jaron Ennis fighting by way of the IBF, and they're fighting for you. They're fighting for the winner of your fight. Those are two very risky fights. So for having a risky fight with them, you might as well fight Crawford. Maybe one of them beat you or give you a hard time, right? Maybe they do, but the same is true with him. The difference with him is it's a bigger fight than it is with them. So maybe he's considering it, but he might also be considering moving up.
More money if he fights Crawford.
But he might also say, hey, fuck Crawford and fuck them. I'm going to 54 where it's safe.
I think that's the option he takes. He moves up. He doesn't fight anybody.
If Jarrell Charlo wins undisputed, I feel like he would go up to fight him for all those belts.
No, he won't. Well, this is what I see. If Jermel beats Castaño, and I think he is going to beat Castaño, I think he's going to knock him out because Castaño is coming off of injury, but also Castaño, I think, is struggling to make weight. And look, we saw the first fight. Regardless of who you think won, we saw in that fight that he hurt Castaño 2 times. If he can hurt him, he can take him out. He just has to make the adjustment. When Tim Bradley was on here, he said he feels the adjustment that he can make is throw more. You know you can hurt him, just throw more, up the work rate. And I honestly think he is going to knock him out. So if and when he knocks Castaño out, él no se va a quedarse en el 154. He's going to go up. He's not going to stay there. Jamal will go up to 68. Jermel will go up to 60. And then, you know, like Danny, el pendejo de Danny Garcia, y Spence, they could be at 54 and fight for the vacant titles.
Ooh, Jarrell Charlo versus Johnny Vick. Ooh.
Y ese tipo se lo come. Ese casaco se lo come. Él se lo come. Ese tipo tiene hambre, ese casaco. No, oh yeah, man, I do, honestly. I do.
I'm telling you guys, the month of April is going to be a good month for fights, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's going to be lit.
It's packed. Okay. We got a nice pack. Every weekend we got a good fight, man.
About the Spence versus Ugas fight, I think, okay, for everyone that is a Spence fight, a Spence fan, enjoy this fight because it's not gonna be fighting anytime soon after the Ugas fight.
I don't think so either. I think this is gonna be as. I think this is gonna be as only as possible. I mean, it's just you know why I don't like talking about Spence because it's like, yo, I don't trust him. Si la pelea una pelea dura, that dude is not fighting 2 times this year. No way. If it's a hard fight, even if it's a fight that he wins, but it's a hard fight,
it's gonna be a hard. It's gonna be a hard fight.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a hard fight.
And if it's a hard fight, this dude is not fighting 2 times this year.
And is his eye going to hold up, too, on top of it?
I mean, like, if I'm Ismael Salas and I'm Yordenis Ugas, bro, I'm going after that eye. Punto y aparte, plain and simple, I'm going after that eye.
Salas needs to teach Ugas eye popping punches, like popping the eye out.
Call Otto Valine and tell him to tell you the Tyson Fury secrets. Like, what did you do to Fury? I gouged his eye, scratched it with the rope. The Tyson Fury secrets, yo. Because I'm for the violence. Like, everybody bitching about Josh Warrington headbutts. I don't care. It's a fight. Fuck it. Come in low and hit him with your forehead, goddamn it.
Accidental headbutts.
Accidental.
Yeah.
All right. But do it. I'm with the shit. Now, gentlemen, I'm sleepy. Ass is getting a cramp. I'm going to bed.
Night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Have a good night. Thanks for
Nos
having me on,
vemos.
Jules, and everybody. Have a
Pasen
good
buena, mi
night.
gente.
Lo pasé bien.